better. But we did get ignition, and it smelled like black powder, and furthermore, we got these sparks. Hey! That actually means that we're on the right track. I think it's just a matter of time till we find the right ratio.
While our budding kitchen chemists mix things up with a few new recipes, Jesse cooks up a bamboo cannon.
So Captain Kirk was put on this barren wasteland. He was very lucky to find a broken off piece of bamboo, one that is approximately the size that we've chosen here, which is about a 6-inch inside diameter. Well, the problem that we're having here is that his piece of bamboo didn't have these inner walls where it blocks off all of these sections. So what I have to do is get rid of those inner walls.
The heat is on to find the perfect hand-mixed black powder formula.
Now in this one, I added more charcoal and more sulfur.
After working their way through over 30 different formulations, the guys decide they found the best possible combination that can be made by hand.
Hey, you know what? It's not too bad. I mean, I don't know if you'd be able to make it in 30 minutes during the heat of the battle, but I mean, so far it's looking good.
You look like you're thinking of something pretty good.
I am. There's a myth going around that you can stick your hand into molten lead and not get hurt.
Molten metal. Pretty nasty stuff. Just look at these shots of a foundry. It would seem that if you touched any of that stuff with your hands, you'd be horribly, horribly burned. But maybe not so. See, there's a myth going around that if you take pure lead and you melt it, that you can dip your hand in it and not be burnt or horribly injured. I know. The trick is supposed to be that you wet your hand before doing it, and it exploits what's known as the Leidenfrost effect.
The Leidenfrost effect? Well, seeing as it's the scientific basis for the myth, Adam, with his hot steel ball and fish tank, is on demonstration duty.
Wow! Look at that!
You can see a clear skin of, I guess it's steam around the whole thing. What you're seeing in this demonstration is known as the Leidenfrost effect.
It's like an atmosphere.
It's interesting because the steam that's created when you expose a hot surface to water is actually insulating that surface. And it makes sense because steam, being a gas, conducts heat less rapidly than the water itself does.
And that's the key. When cool water is exposed to an extremely hot surface, a layer of water vapor, which is a relatively poor heat conductor, provides a thin protective barrier. So it's time to get cooking for this hair-raising stunt.
Is this me?
With the one and only ingredient, lead.
Is this the first Terminator you've ever cooked?
No, I've done this a lot before, actually. Every time I get a robot that's misbehaving.
The problem is you gotta keep them cooking, otherwise they reformulate and try and kill you.
It's about 725 degrees.
Well, that's about 100 degrees more than melting temperature. I think that's about right.
Let's do it.
Cue the stand-in digits.
This meat is raw, and if it actually gets too hot, it's going to change color because it's cooking.
If these finger-sized sausages sizzle, then Adam and Jamie won't be going anywhere near the hot pot.
Oh, no, that seems to be a problem, doesn't it?
A very slight change of color.
But also, lead stuck to... I wouldn't want that to happen to my finger.
No.
While not burnt by the standards of any backyard barbecue, the sausage is being cooked. But they're not giving up yet.
A hair's breadth over 800.
In order to avoid burning their stand-in digits, they're going to raise the temperature and try again. Coming up, the team beam down to the bomb range and blast off with a bamboo bazooka.
I will be highly impressed if this actually works.
Well, that worked pretty well.
Yeah, where's Tori?
Gosh dang it! This is the 4th time this week.
We need to get a new service provider.
Right?
Our intrepid trio of Trekkies are tackling the tall tale of the Gorn Cannon. They want to know, can you hand mix black powder? Can you really build a bazooka out of bamboo? And can the cannon fire with enough force to take down the Gorn?
We're working with 3 different elements here, so the chances of everything working together, I'm thinking slim to none. The gunpowder looks promising. The bamboo, I think, is going to completely fail. And then the gorn actually being hit by diamonds, not so much.
Hey, nice vine you got there.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing how it grows in 3 chords here on this planet. In the episode, Captain Kirk takes the vine and wraps it around the bamboo bazooka at the combustion chamber. I guess that's to strengthen it or something. All right, maybe that's tight enough.
All right, now it's time for the secret sauce. Our own formulation of black powder. After 33 formulations, this is the most potent. And just to remind you, this is using only the chemicals that Kirk had on the planet, which are potassium nitrate, sulfur, and charcoal.
And speaking of James Tiberius Kirk, here he is.
All right, buddy, it's time.
Or at least his stunt double.
You know why he's wearing the red shirt, don't you?
Why?
Every Star Trek fan knows if you've been down to a planet in a red shirt, you're not coming back.
Perfect. We are about to test our bamboo bazooka. Is it going to be strong enough to withstand an explosion from our homemade black powder?
Beforehand, I measured out an amount, 2 handfuls, which what Kirk put in, and that's what this cup is.
And is that explosion going to be strong enough to launch our projectiles into the Gorn to take him down?
Okay.
Load it up with the diamonds. Or is this whole thing just going to explode into splinters?
I will be highly impressed that this actually works.
We are about to find out. All right, this is Gorn Cannon, just like in the episode. Here we go. Kiss your butt goodbye, Gorn!
It's quite endearing, really. Grant and Tori's beaming faces full of anticipation, childhood dreams about to be realized.
That was interesting.
But unfortunately, all that hope has gone up in smoke.
I was hoping for like a shit and wah.
This is so underwhelming.
I'm sorry, guys.
It appears the homemade black powder doesn't burn fast or aggressively enough. The energy is simply dissipating rather than exploding.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed. All our cannon did was smoke profusely. But I don't think necessarily that it was the gunpowder. Maybe we lost containment, I don't know. All I know is that people have been making gunpowder this way for centuries with the exact same recipe.
Careful, it might still be hot.
Maybe we should try this in the real cannon and see if it even works.
I agree.
All right.
So our Trekkie trio isn't giving up yet. To confirm it's Kirk's gunpowder recipe that's failing and not the bamboo cannon, the team is switching in some hardware that they know works.
So, we're gonna give it another shot, put it in a proper cannon, and see how well that does. Look at him. He's laughing at us.
Here's where we stand so far. Behind me is a bucket of molten lead, into which we have already stuck a couple of breakfast sausages and watched them get lead stuck to them and watched them get burnt. We're not ready to put our hands in there yet, but we hear that if we get the lead 200 degrees over its melting point,
Great. That's 850. Let's try it.
it'll stop sticking.
Ersatz finger, bucket of water. Whoop. Shake it off. Into the lead. And it looks pretty much perfect, and it's still cold.
Yeah.
So 850 degrees Fahrenheit is the magic number. The sausage comes through unscathed, which leaves just one question.